own mind, this 126, section 126 is a crucial element to kind of really understand a lot of other aspects, because it describes the psychic.
Absolutely true. Absolutely. See, I would say perhaps this is the deepest occult aspect in the whole process of Savitri Yoga.
Yes, sir.
Deepest and also most crucial.
Yes, it's most crucial because the
The establishment of the divine power in her soul, that is the thing.
yes, sir.
The divine power in her soul. She has taken a human birth, and the human soul alone, of course, cannot do anything at all unless the divine power comes and sits there. See.
Right.
Of course, for that to happen, the divine soul has, the human soul has to become ready.
Right, sir.
Has to become ready. Savitri's soul has become ready, and now the divine Shakti can enter into it and sit in it. You see.
Right, sir.
Once that power is established in the physical of Savitri, then she gets the full strength to go forward on the path. You see. Yes. So here, in fact, is what I have been saying also, that it is Savitri's supreme power, the divine Savitri herself, who is coming and occupying the soul of the human Savitri.
Right.
So that is the meaning of the book of Yoga. It is specifically the book describing Savitri's yoga, not any other person, not even Ashwapati's yoga.
Right, sir.
Not even Ashwapati's yoga. It is unique to Savitri. And let us do sadhana on the basis of Savitri's yoga. I think we will be misled.
Yes, sir.
It's not that at all, you see. And why that is necessary? That the divine power, the divine Shakti should come and sit in the human form, because it is in the human state that death has to be conquered. If a station is found, a place is found, a throne is there for the divine Shakti to come and occupy it. And it is from there that she is occupying, she is working out. She is working out. In fact, we can relate this thing back to the opening canto itself, the Simmer Dawn. See, in the Simmer Dawn, we have got the earth feeling abandoned, the hollow holes between the two nothingnesses, this thing, that thing happening, and periodically attempts were made to bring down the divine light here and make things go in the divine light here. The omniscient goddess would come and try to do things. In fact, that is the description we got,
Yes,
no?
sir.
In the opening canto
Yes, sir.
itself. The omniscient goddess would come and try to do things. But then she would find that the things are not ready here. And the divine afflatus, the divine message would withdraw and go back to heaven. So it is not, in other words, the omniscient goddess also could not bring about a change which is necessary to be brought here.
Right, sir.
She is there, omniscient goddess. She cannot bring about that change at all. She has to withdraw. And then there was the light or the common day, as it says there in the first canto. And therefore, the things kept on happening in the same manner, old manner. There was no resolution of the difficulty here at all. Under these circumstances, Savitri has taken a birth. So it is not the divine goddess who will do. It is not the divine soul of Savitri in the transcendent which is going to bring about a change here. That has to happen in the conditions here. Therefore, she takes the mortal birth. The divine goddess, the omniscient goddess, takes the mortal birth, and it is in that mortal birth state that the divine goddess is now coming and sitting.
Now, so this brings up directly to this question about
Yeah.
how is a avatar soul different from a human soul? And in this section, like we have two specific souls which are given: the struggling soul, which is the human
Yeah, we'll
part.
see that.
Yes,
In
sir.
fact, that they are there for us, for also.
Yes, sir.
For us
Exactly.
also are there.
This is for everybody.
For
The
every-
human soul
for-
and
yeah.
the immortal in us.
Yeah.
So how would avatar be different from a?
Yeah, see the difference between avatar and we, as Ramakrishna would say, we belong to Manushya Koti.
Right, sir.
Avatar belongs to the divine Koti, Ishvara Koti.
Right, sir.
See, the avatar belongs to Ishvara Koti. We belong to Manushya Koti. Means we are evolutionary beings here. The avatar comes here to carry forward the evolution. The divine delegate. In fact, that is what we got in Canto 3 of Savitri.
Canto 3 of book 1.
Book 1, yeah.
Yes, sir.
He comes as eternity's delegate.
Right, sir.
He comes from eternity's delegate, you see. So, he belongs to Ishvara Koti. We belong to the Manushya Koti, you see.
Right, sir.
There is a difference between that, you see. So, naturally, the path, the whole ground is prepared by the divine soul when he comes here as avatar and carries forward the evolution. And it is on that we move forward, you see. So, but at the same time, we also have our counterpart there in the transcendent, in the, what is called a central being.
Right, sir.
And it is that central being who comes down here. In fact, there is a very beautiful description of that in the book of Fate.
Right, sir. So it's the central being who comes down.
Yeah, 111.
Yes, sir.
111. Yes.
111 is the choice, the human soul's choice.
No.
The,
Now you see
supreme
the
choice,
description.
sir.
We are
Yes, sir.
talking the description here. See, first 4-5 sentences will tell you everything.
Yes, sir.
O mortal who complains of death and fate. That is, he is addressing to Savitri's mother, of course, poor lady.
Yes, sir. She is become representative of.
Yeah. Accuse none of the harms thyself has called. This troubled world thou hast chosen for thy home.
Yes, sir.
She was accusing Nara's God. Is this your God who has created this miserable world?
And the pain.
What kind of God is it? And then what mother would say, this is a foolish question, it's an absurd question, a wrong question. Is this your God who has created this wrong world? That's a wrong question. Mother says that the right question would be, in what way has God's world become like this? It is not that God has created this world, you see. So Savitri's mother was asking a wrong question. And Narada is kind of giving a rebuttal to that, you see. This troubled world thou hast chosen for thy home. Thou art thyself the author of thy pain. So don't blame God. You are the author. Once in the immemorial boundlessness of self, in a vast of truth and consciousness and light, that is the pure transcendent, the soul looked out from its felicity.
And this is the central being.
Central being.
Right, sir.
It looked out from its being.
Yes, sir.
From its being. It felt the Spirit's interminable bliss. Spirit spreading everywhere, there is interminable bliss. It knew itself deathless, timeless, spaceless, one. It saw the eternal, lived in the infinite. Then, curious of a shadow thrown by truth, it strained towards some otherness of self. It was drawn to an unknown face peering through night. Now, curious of a shadow thrown by truth, it was drawn. It is that thing which has come in us.
Yes, sir.
Central being has remained
That
there.
curiosity.
Yeah. It became curious of what kind of truth is this?
Yes, sir.
The shadow of this truth. Let me see that thing.
That possibility in the dark.
In the dark, you see. That possibility is there. Curious. And then, of course, the description rolls out from that point onward. So, this is the central truth. central being of ours is there. Jivatma is there always. And Chaitya Purusha is here. Chaitya Purusha is here. It is that part of it. It is he who supervises and sort of watches the movements of the Chaitya Purusha. You see. The Gita says about this Chaitya Purusha, Mamai Ansha, my own part. Ansha Sanatana, the eternal portion. Gita says that. It is that which has come here. The Vedic Rishis says the immortal in the mortal. The immortal in the mortal. It is the same thing. So all these things are the same thing here. Immortal, Chaitya Purusha. Sorry, transcendental. Chaitya Purusha, the mortal here you see. The immortal, immortal. Of course, that description is applied to Agni. In the Veda, when they say the immortal in the mortal, it is Agni. Psychic being equivalent to that in the terminology. See. So it is that now getting kind of related in this realization of Savitri.
She is finding her central being.
No, she is not finding. The moment Savitri had discovered her soul, central being rushes into it. In fact, a being stood immortal in transience, deathless, dallying with momentary things. That a being stood, that is the central being of Savitri, the divine power, the divine soul of Savitri.
Jivatma.
Yeah. Well, in the case of Savitri, it is more than that. It is the transcendental divine Savitri herself. You see, in that case, the divine Shakti herself. You see. And then the deathless, dallying with momentary things, because she has taken here.
No, sir. If it was Jivatma, central being, but it says a being stood immortal in transience.
Yes. Yeah. So
that Jivatma, he's not standing in transience.
He's not, but he is keen about the transient things.
He is, sir, keen.
Keen.
Yes, sir.
You see, he's not simply sitting there idle.
Right, sir.
You see.
But it says standing in transience, sir.
So that's all right.
So which means
but he's not affected by that.
Yes, sir. So which means he's standing as a central being.
Yeah. Yeah. He is poised for the purposes of work here.
Right, sir.
Poised for the purpose of work here, you see, actually here. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
See, the death in whose wide, etc. And then he says, observer, the silent steps of the hour. He is the observer, you see. The description tells you, he is not directly working there. Observer of the silent steps of the hour and the passing scenes of the everlasting play in the mystery of the selecting will. And then again, in the divine comedy, a participant in the divine comedy, because that is important, necessary, you see. The spirit's conscious representative, it is that being, conscious representative. God's delegate in our humanity, comrade to the universe, the transcendence ray, you see, we see very clear transcendence ray. She had come into the mortal body's room. It is she who had delegated as Chaitya Purusha here. She had come into the mortal body's room to play at ball with time and circumstance.
So now what does the she indicate to?
She is that the being, a being who stood.
So that
the divine soul is she, is female.
So it's female, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
sir. And the transcendence ray.
Yeah.
That's why it's a she.
Everywhere it is she.
Right, sir. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It is she. That's everywhere it is she. Right, sir. She, that she refers to that being.
Right, sir. The central being, Jivatma.
Jivatma. Yeah. A joy in the world, her master movement here. I am now describing the character of her work.
Now of the Chaitanya.
No, it is she.
Okay, she.
The passion of the game lighted her eyes. A smile on her lips welcomed us a bliss and grief. She wants that thing for a purpose, you see. Welcomes her. A laugh was her return to pleasure and pain. She is watching all pleasure and pain, everything from there, you see. Because that sort of realization, that sort of uh, uh, association has to be there. Transcendent being doesn't mean that it is isolated from all these things we receive.
Right, sir.
It is deliberately wishing to participate without directly coming herself here
Right, sir.
through her agent, through her delegate. You see it. Then all things she saw was a masquerade of truth. That she again, that being,
Right, sir.
that being, she saw that she alone. So that she continues further. All things she saw a masquerade of truth, truth covered. She sees from above,
Right, sir.
disguised in the costumes of ignorance, crossing the years of immortality. All she could front with strong spirits of peace. So the whole description is of that being who stood.
Right, sir.
Savitri is
The
central
central
being,
being.
divine
Right, sir.
Savitri. But since she knows the toil of mind and life, now she is coming to the specific
Right,
of life. As a mother feels and shares her children's life, she puts forth a small portion of herself. Ansha. She puts a far small portion of herself in the context of mind and life.
Right, sir.
In fact, this is the most elaborate description of how the transcendental jiva comes here as this portion.
Right, sir.
The Gita simply says, Ansha Sanatana, Mamaya Ansha, my portion. But how the whole thing happens, that is not there.
Right.
This is what we have got complete description of that, how that happens here. But since she knows the toil of mind and life, as a mother feels and shares her children's lives, obviously she is acting like a mother. She puts forth a small portion of herself, a being no bigger than the thumb of man, Angushta Matra Purusha. That is the Upanishadic phrase, Angushta Matra Purusha, no bigger than the thumb of man. Into a hidden region of the heart, Hridaya Guha. She puts that thing, that portion of her in the hidden region, Hridaya Guha. That's a translation of this thing. Region, hidden region of the heart, Hridaya Guha. To face, for what purpose? To face the pang and to forget the bliss. To share the suffering and endure earth's wounds and labor with the labor of the stars. So this is the kind of a curiosity about transcendental being had. And he jumped into it, you see.
Right, sir.
Narada says, oh, there's a curiosity.
Yes, sir.
He became curious of the shadow of the truth.
Right, sir.
Well,
And jumped into it.
yeah, so she also has participated in this inner love and now this stands for this inner. Huh?
Chaitanya.
No, this stands for this now thumb.
Right, sir.
Yeah, this last inner is small portion.
Yes, sir.
It is this portion. This inner loves and will suffers the stroke, exults in victory, struggles for the crown. Identified with the mind and body and life. See, it has taken that position. It takes on itself that anguish and defeat. There, for mind and body and life.
Right, sir.
There stands for that. Body and bleeds with face whips and hangs upon the cross. So even and soul of Christ, you see, hangs upon the cross. Yet is the unwounded and immortal self. Yet is the unwounded and immortal self. Now this is exact description of what we have in the Gita. The Gita says, Arjuna is told by Sri Krishna, Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dahati pavaka. The weapon cannot cleave it. Agni cannot burn it. That is his soul.
Yes, sir. Unwounded.
Unwounded.
Yes, sir.
This is the exact translation of that name. Yet is unwounded and immortal self. It takes itself their anguish and defeat, bleeds with face whips, and hangs upon the cross. Yet is the unwounded and immortal self, because the weapon cannot cleave it, the fire cannot burn it, Agni cannot, so water cannot drown it, you see.
Right, sir.
Supporting the actor on the human scene, supporting the actor on the human scene.
Right, sir.
The correspondence is there. So now here, this is, see, you can see Shrivendu's richness and allusions. The first line, this inner laughs and weeps. This phrase, laughs and weeps, is from John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. Christian is going on the pilgrimage, and then it laughs and weeps. The progress is of both, of weeping, of anguish, and of joy also. So this phrase, laughs and weeps, he has taken, it is directly from Pilgrim's Progress. And by the way, this phrase, laughs and weeps, appears 3 times in Savitri. 3 times in Savitri. Laughs and weeps, you see. Even in the case of dialogue with death, she uses that phrase, Savitri, you see. Laughs and weeps, you see. Here, of course, it is in the context of Savitri's soul. Right. In the Book of Fate also, this phrase is used. Narendra uses laughs and weeps. Right. 3 times it appears, this phrase. Laughs and weeps. And then we have got here, through this, she sends us her glory and her power. Now, this stands for this portion, yes, this small being, and she stands for the immortal, the divine Savitri. The divine Savitri. Very clear. Through this, she sends us her glory and her powers, pushes to wisdom's heights, etc., etc. She gives us strength to do our daily tasks. Again, that divine Savitri is there. And sympathy that partakes of others' grief, and the little strength we had to help our race. We who must fill the role of the universe, acting itself out in a slight human shape, and on our shoulders carry the struggling world. So she gives the strength for that, you see. So this stands for that, this, you see. Then again, this in us, the God is small and marred. This again stands for the same thing, small portion. Small portion. This in us, God is small and marred. In this human portion of divinity, this human portion of divinity is human. Ansha Sanatana, Mamay Ansha of the Gita. Human portion. She sees the greatness of the soul in time. She stands for again the divine Savitri. See. Greatness of the soul in time. To uplift from light to light, from power to power, till on a heavenly peak it stands, a king. Now what is that it?
It is again the thumb.
Thumb, sir. Thumb. Or no, well, thumb, it can be thumb, but here in the immediate context it is the human portion.
Right, sir.
Portion.
Right, sir.
Human portion. It is right, for sir. Human portion right, in the immediate context. Right, sir. As a pronoun, you see. Right, sir. In body weak, in its heart an invincible might. Again, it's that in body weak, obviously, you see. Right, in its heart an invincible might. See, that is the nature of the soul. Right. Our nature, physical nature is weak. Right. Mental, vital, physical, all is body comprised of all that things. It climbs tumbling, held up by an unseen hand.
It's the she.
It is the progress of the soul, you see, the divine portion.
This is unseen hand is the
could be she, it can be the divine guide, anybody, you see. Yeah. A towering spirit in a mortal shape. And that is that it. It is a towering spirit in a mortal shape. Here in this chamber of flame and light, they met. Now, this human portion and the divine Savitri. It is they. This stands for these two. Right. Right.
But how do they two meet, sir?
The transcendental Savitri and the human Savitri which is here, now they have come and fused into each other.
Because that's the difference then between Avatar and human. In case of Avatar, it's the Jivatma who directly comes in the
it might, we don't know, it might happen in our case also, if it comes, you see, if our soul is fully awake, right, see, if you invoke that way, see. In the case of Savitri, it has happened. the divine Savitri now, the Shakti, being, not just as a power, as a person, the divine Savitri herself is now coming and meeting the human Savitri.
And going inside and meeting.
Inside. And once that divine Savitri is now established in human Savitri, then the real work begins from, the assured work begins from that. You see, that one. Here in this chamber of flame and light, they looked upon each other, knew themselves, obviously, because the veil of the human Savitri is gone totally, and she can penetrate. The secret deity is that she, and its human part, it is that portion. The secret deity is that hidden from us, that transcendent being, she. The secret deity and human part. The calm immortal. See, in how many ways he is telling again and again. The calm immortal, that is the divine. And the struggling soul, you see. Then, with a magic transformation speed, they rush into each other and grew one.
But there is one curiosity, 125.39, sir. The last line, sir.
Yeah.
A house.
Then suddenly she met the secret soul.
Her secret soul.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's
Now, a house was there, all made of flame and light, and crossing a wall of doorless living fire. There suddenly she met.
She here Savitri.
Yes, sir. She is Savitri here, right, sir? Met her secret soul.
Yeah.
But here, if you see,
no, that no, don't correct that secret soul with that. No,
okay, that secret and the secret is different.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
here he is keeping it kind of secret. That's all you see.
Right, sir. There it's struggling. Here
the secret soul is not entity as the same secret soul as that one.
Right, sir. Here,
and it could be also.
Right, sir.
It could be also.
Right, sir.
It could also be. See.
Here it is mentioned as a secret deity, so obviously it becomes different.
Secret, no, yeah, the secret deity is secret deity. Right.
Otherwise, what is secret soul here is the struggling soul there.
No, secret soul there is this being.
Yes, sir, is the struggling soul here, sir?
No.
In this description, it is called a struggling soul, sir.
A secret deity, no, a secret deity here, you have got here secret deity is the divine Savitri.
Yes, sir, right, sir. And here you have the calm immortal, which is the divine Savitri.
Yes.
And the struggling soul. So struggling soul is the secret soul in this case.
No.
It has to be secret, sir, because there suddenly she met her secret soul.
Yes, all right. So but that secret soul is not the struggling soul.
So here it's like this.
The description of the secret soul is here now, immediately.
So which means all this...
Here, in this context here, that this secret soul stands for a being. Who is that secret soul?
Right,
a being.
So let's say, sir, now she comes from outside. It is the human Savitri who's coming from outside. It's the struggling soul who is coming from outside. Which is the thumb which is coming from outside.
Okay.
In the inner countries. And finally, in the inner countries, she discovers this.
She meets the secret soul.
Yes, sir. So this is the way to actually reach the immortal in us.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Okay.
Sir?
Yeah, that is all right.
Yes, sir. That's what I was.
That's okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
So the secret soul.
Yeah. After all, it is Savitri who is seeking the soul.
Yes, sir. It's
and
human Savitri.
what is the Savitri?
It's a human Savitri which is seeking.
That's right. Obviously.
Yes, sir. And this human Savitri is special because she's an avatar.
She's she's meeting her being.
Yes, sir. She's meeting her being. But like, let's say we have a human us and we have a secret us, right, sir? In that sense. So in case of difference between avatar and a human would be that the human in us, which is the thumb in us, is definitely of a different origin than the thumb in Savitri. Because in the case of Savitri, it's the thumb is an avatar.
Directly from the Supreme.
Directly from the Supreme, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Right. That's the difference, sir. Between
it's come directly from the Supreme. But in our case also, when we discover a soul, true soul,
yes, sir, then
we meet our Jivatma.
Yes, sir. Then it becomes the same thing.
Yeah.
But in case of...
there will be a kind of a parallelism there.
Yes, sir. But in case of Savitri, the being itself is the divine being. It's not a being which is struggling or something.
No. Sense, yes. It is the transcendental counterpart of Savitri.
Yes, sir.
The omniscient goddess who could not do things from above.
Yes, sir.
She has to take a human birth here.
Right, sir.
She has to take human. So the whole crux is there.
Yes, sir. So thumb itself is different in that sense.
Yes.
Right,
I mean, unless you come and do things here, sorry, nothing will change here.
Right, sir.
Otherwise, it's like waving a magic wand there and things change. No.